Apparently, when I hit the stream latency button, it needs me to restart the live. So, hello. I am actually here now. I think I started it, stopped it, and then started it again. So, rip. Um, okay, so I was just having some interesting issues with it being like, hey, you just like added everything. It looks like I just accidentally deleted this entire file. So let's do which button means what. Revert to file contents. Did I remove that accidentally somehow? That's concerning. All right, well, good thing I saved everything. I don't remember removing that file. We can just, you know, do that, which is fine. So now we just have it, and we can run. And I wonder if the tool that I used to remove all of the target directories removed that source.main.rs file. That would be really bad. So I deleted all my target directories, which means that this compilation has to go from scratch, which is unfortunate, but is the way it is. It looks like we're almost done here. Did I tweet out my stream today? I don't think I even did. All right, so we've got Super Corgo. We can jump. It's not great. Oh, you know what I did? I deleted the logic for the jump somehow. That's interesting. So the stuff that was in main.rs before I started stream today was actually stuff that I wanted to keep. I don't understand how that file got like deleted. That has almost literally never happened to me before. But this is the game right now. We have all the collision working, which is really cool. One of the problems is that sometimes you just randomly stop on these platforms, but most of the time it doesn't happen. Like that. So there's a way in which the collider for the Corgi and the collider for the platform, like the Corgi goes into the platform somehow. And the Corgi will just stop because it'll slap into like the side of the next tile. So that's unfortunate. You can still get going by doing this or whatever. And then you can't get up here because it's a solid platform. But you can see the same thing happening as I get up there. The double jump or like the floaty jump thing here is like there's a lot wrong with the way that the jumping mechanics work. There's no dashing here. There's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. But I think that to start off, what we're going to do here is instead of running the level that we have currently, should be able to open this up. You know what the problem was? I just realized what the problem was. My computer ran out of memory on disk yesterday night, and I think that prevented me from actually saving what I was working on. So it's just gone, which is rip, but whatever. We can live with that. So let's go with finding the LDTK string. Insert LDTK. We want to load this. So insert LDTK is a system that runs in the startup. I think I might have to use once cell to get the value here, but I can definitely in main.rs in the app builder. One of the things that I can do here is going to be fetch an environment variable or fetch like something like that, and change it to be the square version. I actually don't know that I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to manually edit it today. Only thing I miss is your custom emojis. I don't even know if I can get those on YouTube. I can get those on YouTube. It says custom emoji down here. I don't know how to do that. I'll figure it out. Figure it out, write a blog post. Where is our... Yeah, I don't actually have any idea how to do that. I haven't actually done much with like customizing my YouTube stream or anything. I haven't looked into the APIs. I haven't looked into anything like that. So anything that you find is great. What was I looking for? I was looking for the LDTK file. So the LDTK file is the file that we're loading to like create a level. So I'm just going to swap this to one that I created right before stream. That will hopefully just work. I didn't even test this. So it should just load a different level. The sound is great. Nice. That's awesome. I feel like some of the ways that Twitch deals with your audio is like it'll cut audio quality for some reason. Or like drop you down to like 480 or whatever. I also have my desktop volume not up because I'm listening to music, copyrighted music. Ooh, that I can't show you or can't share with you. Come on, Cargo. Why are you waiting for a lock here? So this level is basically just a giant square, and I think I'm going to use it to test some new mechanics. So there's like two major things that I would like to accomplish before the game jam is over. One of them is pretty major. Like the game jam theme is the illusion of security. So like this looks like a normal also hi Lee, how's it going? This looks like a normal platforming level right now, right? And my idea for the actual game jam theme is to have this turn into like, as you move across the stage, like the regular safe platformer that you're used to goes away or falls away and reveals like the real level, which is like a super dangerous, like spike filled level or something like that. So the things that we need are these coins. I want to be able to collect them. So we need a collision area on the coins, and then we need to listen to the event. This jump pad right here will basically be the same thing. It'll be a collision area, and in the event, we're just going to add an impulse to the corgi so that it like shoots the corgi up, basically. So like you can't reach that coin right now, but theoretically, if you landed on this pad, it should send you up like this high or something. And then the third mechanic I want to work on is the exact same kind of thing. So you can see how like if we get the coin working, we're going to get all these others working fairly easily. If you jump into these spikes, I want them to respawn you. And then if you hit this block at a certain speed, which will actually be slightly different because all of these are going to be like the coins are going to be areas that you can pass through, right? So they're going to be kind of detection areas. And then this will probably also be a detection area, because that seems like the easiest way to do that. I guess this could also be a detection area. But the block needs to be physical. Like you need to be able to hit the block, right? So slightly different, but still the same kind of thing. So if we get the coins working, we should be able to get everything else working today. And those are the two major things that I want to get done before basically Saturday morning. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get the level falling away to work. So we're going to start with the coins, which means that we need to look at the docs. We already have the logic here for creating collisions for certain tiles. If I can find the array that I used, I dropped everything in a single file, which is both great and also horrible, absolutely fucking horrible. So there's an array somewhere in here. So this array determines whether we add a collider or not. So I could just figure out which tile the... Do I have the PNG? I have the PNG. The PNG here, the coin is right here. So these are 20 each. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 161, 162. So if it's 162, then it gets a collider. And that should work because that's not like super different than what we're already doing. So right now I'm expecting this to be a thing where if you jump onto the coin, you'll land on it. Damn, we got lines. It's all in one file. So, I mean, like, yes. I actually don't know how much code I wrote for this. But theoretically, if we land on the coin right now, it should just stop us. Unless I got the index of the texture wrong, which is entirely possible. Do we think that's 162? See, the 0 through 20. I think this is 20. I think it starts at 0 and I think it ends at 19 maybe. So this is 20. So maybe I need to add 1 to it. Maybe I gave it the, so this is 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 51. 151 might be the right. Oh man, I really got that wrong if that's 151. But my goal for this long term is to turn this into a course about building a 2D platformer. And my second goal is to make this into something where we can build the level in LDTK. LDTK is super interesting. My upstairs neighbors decided that right now is a great time to drop all of their... So there, you can see that the collider works here. It doesn't fit, right? So like it's bigger than that coin. So we need to make the collider a little smaller so that it fits. And then we can turn it into like an area collider. There's also no friction on it. So like the corgi is just kind of like infinitely moving forward slightly. That is a bug. So 151, let's do this in its own thing, I guess. Let's not record a macro right now. Let's pull this out. Let's do if tile, we're gonna do a reference here, right? So let's do the same exact kind of like code. So if 151 Rust is really crazy with all it can do. Yeah, Rust can do a lot. And like one of the things that's really cool is that Rust can do a lot of things that JavaScript can do, but it does them faster with lower memory consumption. So like if you're going to write serverless functions, like I was just telling Xander earlier, or I was just telling somebody else earlier actually, that if you're going to write serverless functions and you're going to do it in JavaScript and you're like frustrated with like the cold start times or the runtime or the memory consumption or whatever, because all of those things contribute to how much serverless functions cost, even though they cost very little on the per function basis. Then you can move to Rust, and Rust gives you like faster cold start times and things like that. So what you end up with is basically like the thing you wrote in JavaScript, except like kind of faster and more efficient, which is really cool. What's the button for and on a keyboard? There we go. Texture index is what I need. Is that Butterfeet? Isn't that how real corgis move? It's not how 2D platformer characters are supposed to move, for sure. I've got a yellow card in my headphones right now. That's wild. I haven't listened to yellow card in so long. Okay, so if this contains that, then basically what we're going to do here is copy all of this code. Because, actually, where is the end of this? So it's there. So we pull this in. And I think we can just go to this point. We can copy, we can paste, save, and that should give us, and let's make the, I'm inserting the sprite right now. I don't really need to insert the sprite. It's centered on the coin, so as long as we get the size right, it should work. And then the collider material, I think, is what we're going to modify. So this is going to be a cuboid shape. Let's make this like a little smaller. 0.36 turns into 18 pixels. I don't know how big the coin actually is, but 0.3 should give us a little bit of a smaller coin. So let's get this running and make sure that we wrote our if statement correctly. As everybody knows, we are writing artificial intelligence for coins. So let's get a landing on one of these coins, see if it fits a little bit better. It's a little closer. The collision still works. So let's make it a little bit smaller. And this is one of the things that I kind of want to, like, I don't know, iron out. Like, I would like to build more games like this, right? And one of the things that I would like to do is make this process of like determining how big the hitbox should be for a coin easier. Like that should be information on the tile or something like that, right? Like I should be able to do that in the level editor as opposed to doing that in the game code. Okay, so that's starting to look a little better. I feel like it being like slightly bigger than the coin, like a pixel or something, is not a big issue. Makes sense. Yeah, I feel like game programming or like game design tools are like where I want web design tools to be, and web design tools just like never make it there for whatever reason. Like we're still stuck at like, let me insert a form with a label of this and a name of that and a type of this and like pixel width of that and some borders here, and like we're so focused on the low level little pieces that we never get to the point of like this is a login form and the user should be able to log in here and then access the application. I mean, game dev does do a lot for influencing like web dev tools. Like people who build web dev tools are very aware of like the way that game dev has better tools than we do. I think there's various reasons as to why we don't have those tools in the web dev community. I think one of them turns out to be that building on top of the web platform isn't as stable as you'd like it to be most of the time. Combined with the fact that because the web platform itself isn't super stable or super like for example, we needed jQuery for years, right? So that I don't get into like talking about modern whatever at the moment. So nobody hates on me for like saying something about Reactor View or whatever, or CSS or anything like that. But like we needed jQuery for a while because it was different in every browser, right? And these days we have so many different tools that work slightly differently that we don't have any tools that can do the game design thing for all of that code. And everybody expects to just like be able to swap out all these frameworks with each other. Which isn't really possible. So we end up with a lot of little clicks or like centering around different tools, which is like fine, except for the fact that like we have to rebuild everything every couple years. Okay, so Bevy plugin, colliders. We want it to be a collider type of sensor. So I'm assuming that this is just going to be part of the bundle. So solid colliders are what we're using currently. So that's going to be like the block, like the block you hit, it sends out a coin or whatever, or like an item. I have no items in this game yet, so rip. But that prevents them from like penetrating, right? Sensor colliders are like areas that you can enter, so you can get an intersection event. So let's do that. Now that we know the collider is working for sure, let's insert a collider type of sensor on it so that we can actually get our actual. Okay, so and then we need to figure out how to do collision detection, like on our own, like get an event when the collider is. We don't need to update the position because it never changes. We do need to remove it at some point. Like the coins are going to get removed from the map. I don't know exactly how we're going to do that, but we'll do it. We'll figure it out. Okay, so this is advanced collision detection. I guess this is like, we need to figure out how to get events basically from this thing. We don't really need like broad phase, narrow phase. Like we don't care about most of this. The intersection graph can be read in order to determine whether two specific colliders, assuming at least one of them is a sensor, are intersecting, or to determine all the colliders intersecting one particular collider. So we could do this. We could go and like basically get the narrow phase resource, which is a resource is a Bevy term, and narrow phase is the stage of like collision detection. There's like a broad phase and a narrow phase. And as you can imagine, the broad phase is more general, less tight, and the narrow phase is like exact. But I don't want to do like a check for every coin on the level. I don't think. I think I just want to like find a way to like hook in. These are physics hooks, so I don't think that's exactly what we need. Contact modification. This is all like stuff that we don't really need. We just need to like fire an event and listen to it, which I hope they have implemented. I don't actually know if they have it implemented. Collision groups and solver groups. This is for like forces. Active collision types. Active events. Event handlers. Yes, that's what we're looking for. User-defined callbacks to be notified when two colliders stop touching. By default, no contact event or intersection event is generated by the narrow phase. In order to enable a contact intersection event for a pair of colliders, so that is between the player and the coin, for example, at least one of the involved colliders must have the corresponding event set as active. An event is activated for a collider by setting its corresponding active events bit to 1. Setting the filter contact pairs bit to 1 enables the contact events involving the collider. Setting the filter intersection pairs to 1 enables the manual intersection events involving the collider. So we've got contact events and intersection events. I assume we need intersection events because we're using sensors. Set the active events for when the collider is creative. So these flags are what we're going to need. I think we can just place them on the player because, like, I want to know when the player is intersecting basically anything, right? But I don't really care about like the coin intersecting with like a flying bird or something like that. So let's go to the player and let's put this on the player. Insert LDGK, respawn, side scroll. So we've implemented a lot actually now that I look at this. Control, spawn player. Where's spawn player? There's spawn player. And then the collider flags needs to be here. Comma. So contact events and intersection events will fire for the player. Hopefully that doesn't like create too much of a hassle. Contact events are triggered when two non-sensor colliders transition. We have a sensor collider, so we need intersection events. One intersection event has a type intersection event. Collider 1, first collider involved. Collider 2, the second collider involved, intersecting, set to true if the... It's been so long since I played with any graphic stuff like this. Brings back memories. Nice. Yeah, this is like the first time I've ever built a 2D like platformer type game. I have a bunch of like work done on things like Tetris and things like 2048, things that like don't need active collision detection because you can just stick them into a grid. Or like tic-tac-toe, for example, doesn't need collision detection, right? So this is my first time working with this library, this physics library, which is really interesting. Active events, contact events. Intersection events. I think this is going to be... I think we're going to have to go check the examples for the Bevy Rapier stuff. The intersection graph. Oh, we're in advanced collision detection now. Oh, well. So this is kind of just doing general... This is defining the entities. So maybe we query all of the coins on the page for now, and then we check them all, and if any of them are colliding, then we deal with it. That's not it's not amazing. Let's do it. This is a game jam, so anything that can work is what we're doing. Because we don't have much more than 2 days left here. How am I querying the player? I'm doing like query with player or something like that, right? See if I have it somewhere in here. Query player. I'm not doing with player. I'm just querying the player. I guess that's okay. So let's just do this. Let's do player and player. We'll do an entity with it as well. Those are the control queries. So they ask for kind of a lot. Or I guess we could do... Should we do this in the control? I don't even know. Let's, just deal with it for now. So this is a tuple, and the tuple doesn't need to be that direction. It needs to be entity. So we're going to take basically the entity ID, which I think is this. The first entity with a collider bundle attached. I'm hoping that this is like the entity ID. I don't know if it is. Let's comment these two out. This query works like that. And then we need actually another. That is the wrong button. There we go. We need that. So we have a player. So if the player, we're gonna have to loop over this. So let's do coins. How do we do this? I think we're gonna intersect. I think we're gonna filter. So I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have a struct that is called like coin. And when we do the insertion for the setup collision or setup colliders, and when we have 151, which we can call 151 is coin A. I guess I'll capitalize A, coin A. When we do this insertion on this tile entity, what I'm going to do is also insert the coin struct. So this is just a flag, basically, so that we can grab this later. We're going to filter by coin down here. So coins is going to be like query for, do I need a paren here? I need the entity, so yes, I do. We need the entity. We need the, actually we don't. We just need the entity. Because coin will only be on one thing. So this is going to be entity. If I can spell entity, which I, I'm struggling with right now. And then with coin. So this is going to be all the coin tiles, and it's going to be the entities. So we're going to have to loop over that. So for coin in coins.iter. I think that because this is, keep hitting the wrong button for the parentheses. I think that because this is a legit, I might actually move that key because I keep hitting the wrong one. Right after I say that, do it again. Okay, so narrow phase intersection pair player coin. I think coin is just going to be the entity. I don't know if handle is on entity, so we're going to go find that out by running this right now. I'm gonna grab some of my water here. Oh, right. So let's do this instead. Player query. This is going to be, we backspace this, This is still a comma. And this can be with player. So this is the second argument in these queries is a filter. We don't need that. We do need this. So we have a query for entities that have a player tag, which is only going to be one of them. A query for entities with coin tags, which is going to be a bunch of them. And then we're going to shadow player here. Player equals, what is it? It's player dot single dot unwrap, because there should only ever be one. I did it again. Every single time, unwrap. So player single unwrap should be the entity now because we changed the way the query works. And we'll say player over here, and we'll say coin over here. Although the IDs of these entities are not really going to help us that much. It's just going to print out like, hey, some of them are colliding. And then this is going to go in as a system that runs all the time. So systems run on every tick. Dot add system. One day I will get this right. It's so easy to hit too. Dot system. Save that. Go back to our SuperCorgo, and hopefully the player doesn't error out here. If the player errors out, then I have to do an if-let instead of an unwrap. But I think the player should always exist at this point. I actually don't know that anymore. I despawn the player. Oh, look at that. It worked. See that in the bottom left? Scrolling up. I think it works for both of them, right? This corgi can fucking leap. Like this corgi has like better hops than everybody that I knew on my volleyball team in college. So the intersecting colliders works, and we have the entities. So the really the thing that I want to do is have the coin like animate upward when it collides. So let's do this, and we will just like kind of articulate what we want here. Coin animates up and out. Coin, I guess coin score. We don't have a score yet. I'm going to have to implement that here. Coin score, like plus. Where's my plus button? I don't even know. This is why I need to have my Moonlighter layout on my other monitor. Do I have it on my other monitor? I did at one point. I don't currently. There it is. Jam this right in here. Okay. Symbols. Oh, it's like right there. Okay. That's actually not good. I can't hit that key. This is what happens when you change your Moonlighter layouts. Oh, I can't hit that key. Never mind. Okay, we're good. Never mind. False alarm. Because the key is this and then that. No, it's not. What did I do? I messed that up, didn't I? That should be num plus. I think I prevented myself from ever being able to type a plus sign on this keyboard. Whoops. Are you on an M1? No. Got UPS and not the package handler. No, I'm not on an M1. I am on unless by M1 you mean a Moonlander. How is that? It's backslash. It should be that one. Oh no. I've prevented myself from being able to type. Should be that, and it should be that. Except that is a semicolon for some reason. Why is that a semicolon? That should not be a semicolon. Oh God. Are we in the right layer here? I can't type a plus sign. Oh well. Backup keyboard plus. Coin score plus. There we go. I'll just hit my backup keyboard. 2017 Pro is finally seeing its last days. Yeah. Shouldn't there be new ones in September? The M1X chips are coming out soon. I don't really use my laptop apart from being plugged in these days. Mostly because of, you know, what's been going on over the last year or two. But so we need to add a game score with the coin score and then display the coin score for that to be a thing. Can we despawn the entity? So we need commands. So commands is going to have to be mutable. So mute commands. Oh, you know what I just realized? No, that's not it. Mute commands is a commands. And we will do commands entity. And entity will be the coin, which I think we have ownership over at the moment, so we don't have to deal with anything. And then despawn recursive is what we need to call. So theoretically, this should remove the coin from circulation. I've been trying to hold out. I think I might have to get an error for now. Plus signs have landed. Yes, the plus signs came from my 60% keyboard, which I keep in front of me while I operate the Moonlander and change things around. Okay, so that worked. The collider. Ooh, I need to remove that tile somehow. It does work because we only get one intersection now. But the map tile needs to go away. Is there any way for us to get that map tile? I don't know. Is there any way to get us for us to get that map tile? Maybe we leave that for now and we move to the next one. What else do we have here? We have the thing that sends you upward, right? So I think maybe modifying the I keep thinking I wrote space in as being the thing, but it's not. Heading to a call, be right back. See you in a bit. I think that doing this part, making this jump pad thing work and deliver an impulse is probably more important than removing the coin right now. I think I can remove the coin later. All I really need to do is figure out how to find the coin and remove it from the map, which is really interesting because we need to get the tile. We need to update the tile. I need to do a similar thing for this plunger thing. But the plunger thing, I think, needs to go in a different spot anyway. So we could also do some UI work and get some coins and stuff. Coin score showing up. Player and coin. Okay, so that works. We know that works. This is the same thing we'll need to do for the other thing. If this is with coin, and that's the entity, is there any way to get the map tile location from that? Let's find out. Let's do... Let's look at the Bevy ECS tile map stuff. Let's see if there's some kind of like get current tile position thing or something. Map ID layers. So there's a bunch of tiles. I think I already have the tile though. I don't want to despawn the map. I want to despawn a single tile. And I think that there's a special command for that. Get tile position mute, get tile parent, tile bundle position. Maybe a query for the tile as well. Is the tile something that can give us this? Parent, get parent, new, tile parent. Let's go find Bevy, ECS tile map is this. We're using the main branch off GitHub, so this documentation isn't quite right, but it'll be pretty close. Texture index, flip X, flip Y, visible. So tile is not what we want. I don't think there's a despawn here or something like that, right? Let's look for tile bundle. I want to be able to get a tile from the entity, I think. The parent chunk. Can I remove a tile with the parent chunk? Layer ID, map ID. I feel like the map has like a remove tile function on it. This is just in the standard library. We don't want the standard library. We want ECS map, because otherwise we're going to get map from like dot map and like the hash map and things like that. Map entity, new, add layers, remove layer, get layer entity. Despawn. Despawn's a map. I don't want to despawn the map though. What does the despawn function do? It probably just calls out to the layers and stuff, right? Commands that entity to map entity that despawn recursive. Okay, so that makes me think that it should just work when I despawn the tile. Unless for some reason the entity is not associated with the tile for some reason. That's processed. Where's the... Okay, here's the collider. Here's the tile entity right here, the one that we really want. That's this tile. Chunk for each tile entity. We get the tile entity, right? We're getting the tile entity actual. And then we're setting the collider shape a little smaller because it needs to be. Set it to type sensor. We set the position, which is math that I never want to revisit. Math that I never want to revisit ever again, because that was disgusting. And then on the tile entity, we insert the collider. We insert a sprite, which we don't need to insert, I don't think. The collider position discrete and the coin. So when we... this is a little bit annoying. Let's do this instead. Let's do not despawn recursive. Let's let coin, because we don't really care. Equal commands.entity coin. And then coin dot, what, is there anything in here that we can we just debug coin? Coin, move forward, semicolon, and then we run it and we see what we get out. Oh, we can't debug it, can we? Entity commands? That's not really what I want, is it? So this gives us the entity ID. Dot get, what other components are on this coin? What if we, I think we're gonna have to look at the code here. I think we're gonna have to look at the ECS code and see what it's actually doing. And to do that, we may actually need to do it in the VS Code editor, because the LDTK code is something that I have locally, although I don't have that many changes to it. I might want to add, so insert layer bundle, layer transform layer bundle. I think that's layer builder.set tile. Okay, so in the layer is the tile, so we may need to get all the way back to the layer before we can despawn. We build the layer gets converted into a map, or gets added to a map. So we've gotten a hierarchy that is map, layer, chunk, tile. We have tile entity right now, but we need to figure out, because despawn recursive didn't work, we need to figure out where we need to be to pull the tile off. I guess the other option is really like replacing the tiles at runtime and just having them be invisible. That would be kind of annoying though. Let's see, entity, layer entity, insert bundle, which is a layer bundle. What is the layer bundle? Layer bundle is probably like actual, right? Process loaded maps. Layer bundle is probably in the prelude. So if it's in the prelude for this library, then it'll be on the docs. So I think we can go back up here. We can do layer bundle. A bevy bundle which contains a map, transform, and global transform components. This will have a layer. The layer will have get chunk, get layer size. So if we can get chunk, then we get an option entity. It bothers me that the despawn recursive didn't work, if I'm being honest, because I'm not sure exactly how else to pull that off the map. It's possible that this isn't like set up to work that way. Get the layer size and tiles for convenience. Not what I need. I don't need any of this really. I feel like the tile, like despawning the tile entity should despawn it from the map, but it didn't do that. Ooh, visible. Maybe we just change visible to false. Because if we change visible to false and we despawn everything else, then it's effectively the same thing. That's what we're gonna do. Because we are in a game jam and it doesn't matter. All we need is a way for it to work. We don't need the way for it to work. So dot, let's see, coin dot, I can't get on this coin. Insert bundle, insert children, push children, not what I want. Despawn, not what I want. Push children into insert. We can only insert and stuff? That doesn't feel right. Maybe we do entity and then we do mute tile, right? So we get the entity and the tile here. And this needs to be in a tuple, which is why we are struggling once again to do that. Hashtag Moonlander struggles, I suppose. Entity, mute tile, backspace this. This looks correct, but Rust Analyzer is telling me it's not. This will be mute coins. This needs to be iter mute now. We'll save that. Why am I buzzing? This needs to be mutable reference. That's why. So do we not get coin.handle? I guess we get coin.0.handle, right? Coin.0. I broke that, didn't I? I did. That's me, just breaking everything, even though it already works. And then here we get coin.1, which is the tile. Dot visible. Is that not it? Dot visible equals false, right? This is going to be coin.0 because we're going to get that entity. And I renamed this to the same exact thing. So I need to do, what is this going to be? This is going to be coin. Entity. I don't know, builder. I could have just moved that up, couldn't I? Okay, let's do this. Now, which button moves this up? Is it that? Okay, cool. Coin.1.visible equals false. And then we do coin.despawn recursive. So that should hide it. I think that'll work. At least I hope it'll work. I have no idea if it'll work. Never used. What is never used? Oh, let's get rid of this player here because we already have that. Coin.0. This is going to be a reference because otherwise it's not going to work. This is going to be not a reference. One day I will put those in better places. Coin.1.visible. I think this is going to be a reference issue. But let's see what Rust says. Cannot borrow is mutable. Let's do we need to do parentheses around this mute? Okay, we're good. We are good. Good. Hopefully. Anyway, we're about to find out. So when we hit the coin, it should despawn the colliders, so we won't be able to hit the coin again. And it should move it off the map. Nope, Didn't move it off the map. So visible false doesn't do anything? Is that what's happening here? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. I think I may have just dereferenced the wrong thing, so let's try this first. Before we're disappointed in ourselves. I just man, getting this thing off getting the tile off the map is not really intuitive at all. The corgi can still fly. I don't, man. So what is that? That's not the coin is then not actually part of the entity, like the background image. I thought that was one of the reasons that I was using this library at all. Let's go check out the examples for this library. That's the rapier examples. This is a link to documentation that was not found. That's great. ECS tile map. Okay, ECS tile map examples. What do we have here? Accessing tiles. Load tiles.png, layer settings, layer builder, set all to some tile. Layer builder.get tile. Yeah, great, but I need to do it from another system. Do I need to query a layer builder? I don't think so. Yeah, so we build the layer, and then we lose access to all the tiles. We add the layer to the map, and then update map, current time, current color, map query. So we need to map query.get tiles here. By position. Finally, after mutating a tile, we can tell the internal systems to remesh the tile map. This sends a new tile data to the GPU. Ha! Is there a reason that this is 00? I think that's map ID, layer ID, or something like that. Position as U32. Position is a neighbors.iter. Position is probably a tuple. Let's go check notify chunk for tile. The fact that we have to, okay, so I guess that makes sense. It's a little awkward, right? Notify chunk for tile takes a tile position, which is a UVec2, which is basically a tuple. Map ID, layer ID, which are both going to be 0 for us because they're on the original layer. Just have to remember that because when we create the level, we have to actually handle that. So map query is like some special kind of type here. We can do things on our own, like we can deconstruct this map query because if we look at the source, it's actually just a collection of like a bunch of queries. But I'm gonna see if we can stick with the. Wait, why is it yelling at me down here? Oh, because that's the. Let me get rid of this VS Code instance because that is going to be confusing. Okay, so let's see if we can pull the map query. And then I think we can just do map query because. Okay, cool. That's a good thing. Maybe we can. Do we need to do this after or? So if we despawn recursive, let's call these actual coin. And let's say, let's not do the visible first, just so that we get a like good read on whether that's actually necessary or not. And then let's do the map query isn't what we want. What's the name of the thing that we're trying to do here? Set tile, despawn layer tiles, despawn layer, despawn tile? Ooh, despawns the tile entity and removes it from the layer chunk cache. So maybe we don't want to use despawn recursive. Maybe we want to use that. Now that we are map query dot despawn tile, and the despawn tile will be, what are the arguments here? Commands. Okay. Tile position, map ID, layer ID. So we need to commands. The position is going to be the coin.1 dot position on the tile. I feel like position isn't on the tile. Let me pull this way over here so that we have access to it. Texture index, flip X, flip Y, visible. So the tile actually doesn't have the position. The tile bundle does insert a position. So let's go take a look at the tile bundle and see what the name of the component for the tile bundle that controls position is. A UVec2. Maybe if we just look for a UVec2 component, we'll get it. Maybe we'll get lucky. Yeah, you feeling lucky, punk? This is going to be a reference to a UVec2. And then I think that this will be .2. This is going to have to be probably an nmute commands, right? Because otherwise, I don't see how it would work otherwise, because all commands mutate the argument. And then the map ID is going to be U16, 0, U16. If I was going to make this more generic, like I would have to get these values from somewhere. Coin.2. Does this need to be owned? It should be a UVec2. So I think this needs to be like a dereferenced UVec2 or a cloned UVec2. Clone just probably makes more sense. This probably needs to be mute. Let's see if that's the actual issue. I think that the map query is going to have to be mute in some respect. Because it's a collection of other queries, I'm not sure. Hey peeps. Hey Carlos, how's it going? Doing all right. We're despawning coins and collecting them in the platformer today. Cannot borrow is mutable. It's gonna have to be mute map query. That's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Listening to some Everclear, I think, is the song that's playing right now. How are you doing, Carlos? One of the fun parts? Yeah, we'll see. It's not currently working. Hopefully this will. So that's the intersecting colliders. It's still not despawning. Does that return a result that I'm not using? If I had paid attention when we ran this, I would know that. Result that must be used. Let's unwrap this so that it crashes for us if something is wrong, because I believe something is wrong. Hey Jacob, how's it going? The latency on the stream today should be much faster, so I should be responding sooner. I changed the latency to be like, well, lower. Okay, so this despawn tile says it's working. Let's get rid of this for a second. Because the other option is like doing some weird set visible thing, and I really would like to not do that. I'm good. Working on some internal tools for automation testing, pushing in the company to use Rust one project at a time. Well, internal tools is a great use case for Rust. I don't know what my neighbors are doing. I don't even know if y'all can hear that, but it's kind of ridiculous. There's like throwing, it sounds like they're dropping 2x4s in random spots in their apartment. Okay, so despawn tile doesn't work. Clunk clunk. Hey John, how's it going? So commands, we're passing in the mutable commands. It says that despawns the tile entity, which we were already doing, and removes it from the layer chunk cache. I wonder if even after despawn tile, if we need to trigger the notify chunk. Tile position, map ID, layer ID. It would be really weird to have to do that. But I can also see where like that would be a desirable thing. Where it's like map query, that notify chunk for tile. And then this is basically the same thing as this. So we're just going to copy that in. Save. Hopefully this notify is the thing that we need, whether it's with that command or not. Sup, just commenting on the noise. Yeah. For sure. No, I got what you meant by clunk clunk. Okay. So, with any luck, our floating corgi will make it to this coin, and the coin will go away. Yes! And then we fall on the spikes. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Okay, so the coins are leaving. That's really good for us. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm going to commit that before I mess something up. I'm going to play it again. Actually, I want to play it again. So running. That's a problem that I need to fix at some point. That's probably after game jam though. Joink. And we get it. And then maybe we go off the spring and then we get it. And then jump over the spikes. The jump code didn't save because my computer ran out of memory last night. So it's still like super floaty. Last night I did the thing where like, you know, the Sonic style jump where like if you hold spacebar or hold jump, it jumps higher. I actually implemented that last night and it was working. It wasn't great, but it was working. And then my computer didn't save the files because I ran out of disk space. So I was down to like less than 100 meg of memory available. So I was trying to open like VS Code or something from my terminal and it just wasn't doing it, but it also wasn't giving me an error. So yeah, I had to delete a bunch of stuff last night. So that code didn't save for various reasons, which is really unfortunate. But I've done it once, I can do it again. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. We don't need to set it to not visible. So the coins are working. Let's get rid of that debug statement. I'll leave these. Mute coin is no longer necessary, which is kind of cool. So mute tile isn't necessary. I love removing mutability. I love that Rust tells me when I can remove it. This needs to be end tile now because it's no longer end mute. This is no longer mute. I love that Rust tells me when things are mutable and not mutable. I love that it tracks that like for me. It's like I don't know. You think about what you're doing in JavaScript, right? And like you make a change somewhere to some object, and you're like, I don't know what this is gonna do. I hope it doesn't just like mess with stuff. But here it's like these things, like narrow phase, player, and coins, cannot mess with anything ever. They can't change anything. You can only read them, and you know that. Like we can still do things with commands and map query or whatever, but like it's very explicit about what it can and can't do, which I really like. Okay, so we've got coins. Let's figure out what the position for this is. Well, I need like a grid number on this thing, or like this listed in grid form. 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 107 and 108. Let's do 107. No, let's do 108, and we'll put a collider on 108. I'm singing, but I'm not singing because I'm not going to sing on stream. Not at the moment, anyway. Save if 108. So if we are dealing with 108 on the tile board, I feel like this is going to be wrong. I feel like we're going to have a more like vertical hitbox. Let's change this to solid for the moment instead to check the hitbox. And then we can just run this. So now that I have the code for placing colliders on the level, like everything just works and I can start actually working on mechanics, which I'm really, really happy about. So collect that coin and wait for the corgi to fall. That seems a little high. Maybe a little tall and a little not wide enough. Interesting that it's too tall. Let's make this a little wider, maybe. Or no, let's leave it actually. X and Y. And maybe we'll make the Y a little bit shorter, but we'll leave the X. And then now when we have this thing, we do need to listen for the intersections. But I think we do need to listen to the intersections in the player control, maybe. We're going to need a mutable velocity component, or like an impulse. It's basically going to be a jump, right? So when we look to the control, we're already grabbing a mutable like velocity and force and stuff. So I think we just want to like query in here because we only read the intersection system, right? The narrow phase is only red. So if we're only reading things like, I guess we're gonna need another one here for jump pad or whatever. We do have a mutable map query. I think that'll be fine though. You know what I think we're gonna end up doing? We're gonna end up like deconstructing this map query in the future and making it more specific. So I'm not gonna worry about that. And I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna move it up here into the control stuff. So this is player control, or the player control system. We're going to take the narrow phase, and we're not going to take coins here. We're going to take, what do we call these? Springboards, pads, spring pads. What do y'all want to call this? Springies, springs. just gonna call it a spring. Chat, you're too slow. I'm not getting names. I'm gonna have to name these myself. We got struct coin. We got struct spring. And then when we do the collision for item 108, bad names, bouncy plates. Just name it like capital B, capital B, capital Y, capital Y, capital E, lowercase e, lowercase e, lowercase e. Springy McSpring face. That's a good one, actually. I miss the days of the internet when the biggest thing we were concerned about is naming boats Bodie McBoatface. Of course, it was never that simple, but I also, you know, enjoy that sort of stuff. Sprite bundle, coin, spring. So we are going to need this, right? Map query despawn tile. We aren't going to despawn the tile though. So let's start with, I think we already have a player unwrap. Either that or I'm iterating over players as if there's multiple. Texture. Oh no, we're inserting player here. Am I in spawn player? Did I put this in the wrong spot? No, I didn't put it in the wrong spot. I just am in the wrong spot. Set up physics, side scroll. What is it? Command Option O. What did I do? I broke it. I broke it and it's not letting me undo. What's going on here? I can't remember what the, is it like Command Shift O? Control Shift O? There it is. Not set up physics. So Command Shift O or Control Shift O, depending on whether you're on Windows or PC, will give you a list of all the symbols in a VS Code window. So like, here's setup physics. That's not the one I did. I don't remember what function I put this in. Why I don't remember, I don't know. Setup colliders? No. Display intersection info? Bad name. Tiles. Where did I put this? Setup physics. Spawn player. Control. I put it in control. There we go. Jeez. You know, sometimes it's just like, what you doing? It's under the Go menu at the top if you ever forget. The Go menu. Go to symbol in editor. Okay. Cool. I did not know that. Thank you. So we're going to do this. And we'll do this again, right? I think we need to do that again. We'll save that. Coins aren't a thing here. This is going to be springs. Do we have the entity on the player? We don't have the entity on the player. Let's do entity. And player.0.handle. I'm still doing player.1 here. That's awkward. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have. Oh, you know what? Because I changed it yesterday, but it didn't save. That's why I was confused about that. Have you thought of an idea for how to implement the jams theme yet? Yeah, so the idea that I have, and I have no idea if I'm going to be able to pull it off, Melix, is basically I'm going to put a layer, I'm going to put a layer over the map. And the map is going to be, so part of the reason I'm doing this first is to figure out how to despawn tiles and stuff. But I'm basically going to take the Corgi's coordinates, and based on the coordinates, I'm going to show like a normal map, like a normal 2D jumping, like there's no enemies, it's all happy and fun. It's all coins and blocks and stuff you can hit, which are all going to stick around. But then I'm going to have like a space around the Corgi, or based on the X index, how far you've gotten through, I'm going to despawn all of the tiles that you've seen already, and behind those tiles is going to be like enemies and stuff, or like more spikes is probably what's going to be, because realistically I don't know that I'm gonna have time to do like enemy AI and stuff. So I think really what it's going to turn into is that the nice, safe feeling, secure, just like regular platformer is going to fall away as you play the level. And it's going to reveal like a whole bunch of dangerous like stuff behind the scenes. Which one of the things that I needed to do for that is to despawn these tiles. And I'm just going to create another layer in LDTK and load that in. And then I'm going to despawn like layer 2 or whatever, which is never going to have any collision or whatnot. Anyway, that's the idea. I'm hoping that that works out overall. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I really like the idea of like having a thing that everybody thinks they see and is like everybody feels safe starting to play like a new 2D side scroller, right? It's not an uncommon thing for people who play games to have done. It feels safe, and then like that illusion is that, oh, the 2D side scroller actually isn't showing me the level that I really need to be playing. So you feel safe, and then it's not. I don't know. We'll see. These are not coins. These need to be springs. It's going to be apply impulse. And the impulse is going to be, I don't know, something massive. Let's make it like 10 for now and see if that works. So theoretically, this should jump the player in the air when you hit the spring. And the other thing that I want to do, I need to grab this. And I want to change the tile index. I'll paste this in here. This is spring. Is that not spring? 0, 1, 2. It is spring. Y is... Oh, for springs. For spring and springs. Notify chunk for tile. It sounds incredibly hard to implement. I don't think it is incredibly hard to implement. You'll see the thing that we just did here, the despawn tile. I think if I have the X coordinate of the Corgi and the height of the map, then I can despawn all of the tires in a vertical layer, right? So if the Corgi is within a tile or two of that vertical y coordinate in the map, or that x coordinate, right? So if the corgi is at 0, then everything before 2 in the map layer will despawn. And then it's basically just looping and running this, right? And if I can get some like tile fall away animation, that would be really cool, but I'm not holding out for that. I think the actual implementation of this is not going to be terribly hard, which is part of the reason that I was doing this stuff before that stuff, even though that stuff is a really big part of the thing. So 108, we need to make this 107. Imply impulse. Here's where we're going to have to set it. And I'll be able to optimize the other thing too. So like when I despawn a bunch of tiles, I'll just be able to notify the chunk they're in. I don't think it'll actually be that hard, all things considered. Tile. I need to get the tile and I need to set the texture index is what I need to do. Do we have the tile here? This is going to be mute tile now. So this is going to be mute. So this is going to be iter mute. And then we're going to do spring. This is not springs. This is springs. Spring dot. What is tiles? Tile 1. Tiles 1. Dot. Texture index equals 107. And then we update. So ideally what happens here, I think this needs to be dereferenced. So spring.1. That doesn't look right. What happened here? Cannot borrow is mutable. Ah, yes. Thank you, Rust. Mute spring. Let's not insert random characters into the identifiers. So when we run this, ideally what happens here is that it sends us up and it does a little change to the visuals. So I'm going to collect a coin again because I find that awesome. Collect a coin. Oh, come on. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Ooh, I didn't change it to be a sensor. It's still a solid. Easy fix. All right, let's see here. Ready? Collect the coin. Wing. Spring. I'm gonna do it again. Collect the coin. Oh no, I can't get that coin. I can't jump high enough. What do I do? Spring. I think it'll spring me up again if I do it again. Oh no, you know what? It doesn't. Oh, yeah, no, there we go. Okay. That's exciting. Yeah, Yeet is right. The corgi's going entirely too high. I think it's still falling. It's still falling. You know what that was? That was the physics engine. The corgi was moving so fast as it fell that it was skipping places in the trajectory, and it missed the collision for the platform because it was moving so fast that the frame didn't draw all of them in between. And I don't have the continuous collision detection on for the player because you're not supposed to be moving that fast. Boing. Oh. I think it's safe to say that that's too high. Reminds me of Smash Bros. When you get smacked into the foreground. Yes. I should do that. I should do like if you manage to get like 20,000 tiles up or something like that, you just fall into the background and turn into a star. As like an Easter egg for people who like abuse the physics system. Spawn player. Okay, where's our controls? There we go. Okay, so control, the impulse cannot be 10. Let's make the impulse like 4, maybe. I think that's almost double the regular jump, which is still quite a bit. Won't fix, it's a feature. All right, so let's pretend my corgi couldn't jump that high, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? Spring. Okay, that still sends you over the top of the thing. I think the better number might be like 2.5 if you jump regularly. So maybe we do something just like a little bigger than a regular jump. Butt slam. Like a Kirby stomp, basically. But for the corgi, just like slamming into the ground. That'll be a corgi attack in the future. So, coin. Zoom. You still go. Dude, that launches you so fast, though. Am I not saving this? Like, I feel like this number is. I feel like I'm adjusting something else. Intersection pair. Oh, you know what? I just realized this number is probably going to have to be super small because it intersects with the collider for the entire time that it's in there. So like this force just keeps getting applied to the corgi. That's why it's going so high. Is there a particle engine in this library? I could add a particle thing somewhere, probably. I don't know. This is basically, I guess, all from scratch. Like there's a sprite system, and I added a physics library myself, and okay, Doing. Yeah, that's too little. But you see how it like launches you up slowly there? Like it's continually applying impulse. So let's do like 0.5 so you get out of that thing maybe. That'll be interesting. Like, I don't know. Gotta go. Good luck. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, John. So that's like a really soft pad, right? Like if you jump on this and you're like doing, and then you just kind of like maintain height. So that's kind of cool. If you run into it, it sends you higher, which I kind of like that difference. Like you basically maintain height. So if I jump, I only make it to like here, and it'll just keep sending me there. It doesn't really do anything for me. It just counteracts gravity. But if I launch into it, it sends me higher. I actually really like that as like a mechanic. So like if you run into it, it kind of like sends you up. And it'll keep you at that height. So like there could be a secret level where you have to hit all of the pads in a row or something, and like it keeps you that height because of the speed that you're going or something. But if you move fast, if you move too fast, it actually doesn't give you that. So you kind of have to slow down if you're going to get higher. All right, I'm keeping that in the game. Okay, so if I'm keeping that in the game, then the other thing that I need to do is query for tiles that are that other thing. And have them spring back up. Wonder if I can debounce. Maybe I turn this into a query set and I reset the springs down here. Or I do it back up in the control. I want to reset the spring before I move on to the spikes. Because we already have the tiles for the springs here. So let's do this. If you're not in the spring, spring dot texture, spring dot one dot texture index equals 107. Then spring dot one dot texture index equals 108. And then we notify. So if it's 107, then we update and we notify. So I think that should result in, if you are not currently in the spring, it will reset. Step back from that ledge, my friend. Yep, that is the song that I was singing. Yep. Okay, so it should go down when I hit it and back up. Oh, it's so cool. Boing. Boing. We need some sounds, is what we need. Okay, so we have that. I think that I had a big brain moment listening along on Spotify. Well done, well done. Okay, we do have a respawn floor. That's a collider. Okay, so first thing, the spikes are going to be solids, right? So let's figure out, is the spike even here? Yeah, okay. 0, 20, 40, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 68. Almost a good thing. Where is setup colliders? Setup colliders will take this again, right? Paste that, save it, make sure I didn't break anything, I guess. Not, whatever. I'm just gonna assume that that's fine. 68, let's make this a solid. I guess like making it an intersection does make sense, right? It's not really a solid. What I could do is put one solid collider, like so that you can't run into it from the side, but put an intersection collider a little above it. So you can't like walk into it from the side because that's not spiky, right? But you could jump on it. That would be cool. I think I'm going to leave it as a sensor though when we actually get around to it for now, and then I'll go back and I'll do it later. Because this is actually going to have to be even lower, I think. So let's check the new spike size. I'm actually super excited about how much I'm able to get done on this game. Like I've never done a 2D game before. Collect a coin. Let's see. Where's the spike here? That's way too high. That doesn't even look like you hit it. I think the spikes in general need to be like kind of super small in the vertical dimension, because like dying to spikes is not fun. And if you like barely skim the spikes, you don't want to feel like the game, like you never want to feel like the game killed you, right? You never want to be like, I did that, but the game killed me. You want to be like, oh, I messed up. So I think that making the spikes zwing, making the spikes lower is going to benefit us a lot. I think I changed the wrong one though. Let's just make this super small. Did I really just change the wrong dimension? I thought it was XY. Dom is double streaming. Okay, so that's high. What is going on there? Am I not saving this? Oh, you know what? I probably need to drop the collider position lower. That's nerve-wracking. This logic is not something I want to touch. Let's do 6.0. And now you know why I can't play this on stream. Okay. I think it needs to be a little bit lower. That still feels like I'm not hitting it. Jump on the pad, which only doesn't give me any additional height, which I kind of like as a mechanic. And then we land on these. Like that feels like I hit the spikes, right? Like I'm in them, you know? Maybe I make the left and the right a little bit smaller as well, so it feels like you're really in them. I actually already have respawn logic, like calculated. The floor beneath the camera, like way below the level, is actually just like a giant red line. Okay, that also feels like you're in it, right? So like if you're like, I'm gonna land like right here. I'm not in it, I swear. Like that's in, right? And then on top, this feels very in. Like I hit that for sure. Okay, so I already have respawn logic. I just need to steal it for the key 68. Where's this? This is for coins and coins.iter. I wonder if this can be an array. I think I'm just going to have to change this to be a query set, because I don't think I can make this query twice with two widths without making it a query set, because it's still accessing the same things in here. Although actually they're both reading now that I think about it. They're not mutating anything. So it's possible that I can just read these. Go all the way back up. Struct spike. Need to give them like little names and stuff. I can name that one Lee. So detect the intersection. Can you put like little googly eyes on the spikes or something? Soik. Spike. Spike. For spike and spikes, if the player is intersecting with a spike, reset counter plus plus. Spikes don't animate. We just reset. Where is the... Let's find the respawn floor. There's a respawn system already, which I'm already querying the narrow phase in. Why am I querying the narrow phase in it? I already set this up to work with the... Oh. Okay. Maybe I just bring this all the way up here, because I already have the logic. Let's do that. And then Command Shift O. Respawn. This, and then that's going to despawn the player. So this is going to be the same logic. I'm not going to abstract it. I'm going to prevent myself from abstracting it. We don't need to map query. We don't need to despawn tile. We need to do this. I need to pull up spikes from down here. Do we have the player here? We have to have the player here, right? Entity 1 has to be the player. No, Entity 2 is the player. So we'll rename that so it makes more sense. And then now when you hit spikes, it should work, right? Pass a reference in here. Is that going to yell at me? Yes, it is. Why am I getting yelled at for... Oh, because I'm passing in the asset server. Where's spawn player? Spawn player takes a res asset server. Can I clone this easily? I feel like this is an ownership issue. You can't clone it. Okay, let's go figure out what Rust actually says is the issue here. It is a moved value. That's what I thought it was. Doesn't implement copy. Doesn't implement copy. We do throw it in there. It's unfortunate. And when we clone it, it doesn't work, right? Because it doesn't implement clone. Where is the spawn player? Spawn player is a system. So one thing I could do is fire an event instead of, and have spawn player listen to an event. And then I wouldn't need to deal with it. I would just say spawn player and it would go and deal with all of this. I am calling it as a function right now, which is kind of a problem. I think I do add things. Yeah, I use the asset server to load stuff. And I'm not taking a reference to it. The only reason we call in asset server here is actually to send it to spawn player. So maybe I do something like event wise. Let me go check my event code in another project. Source. Let's go for steps because steps is. We do have to add the event in if we're going to do it. So this is a new tile event in this case. New tile event, add event. We need the event writer here. And then we need to send it. And the event reader here. Okay, so let's do that. Spawn player. I think that's how this works, right? And you send the empty, because we don't actually need to send any information here. And I'm basically just getting around this move by like reorganizing my code in the way that it probably should have been in the first place. And spawn is an event writer. Spawn player. Spawn player doesn't exist, so we need to create it up here. And then we need to add event, which is going to be turbo fished, I believe, if I remember correctly. A lot of things in Bevy, when you add them, are turbo fished. Like insert resources turbo fished, so that it knows which one to deal with. So we're going to need a mute tile reader, event reader. I think the writer needs to be mute too, right? Mute writer, event writer. Yep. And then we write and we send the event, which is exactly what we're doing. Where am I listening to this? Spawn player. This is going to be spawn player. I guess if I do it this way, then I need to run this constantly too, right? I don't know that I like that. It's a startup system right now. Is it a startup system right now? Is it a system right now? Oh, what am I doing? It's not even a system? Oh, I can just pass in a freaking reference. What am I doing? Well, that's what I get for overcomplicating it. Let's get rid of all this. Why did I think I had that set up as a system? We don't need a spawn here. I really don't remember why I thought that was a thing. We'll get rid of this. Comment this. And now I think we can just reference this. And then we'll uncomment this and we'll get rid of this. And we will reference this. And then in spawn player, which is not a system, and thus does not need to abide by system rules, we will take a reference to a res assets And hopefully that won't cause any problems with like loading stuff. It doesn't look like it did. I don't see why it would. Like, we're not asking Bevy for a resource here. So, like, we're good? Like, that's significantly easier than what I was going to do. Rust compiler, keeping it good again. Letting us know what we need to be doing. So we do get a spawn here. I do need to adjust that other thing. So we jump, we collect, we hit the pad, it sends us up. We hit the spikes, and nothing happens because I didn't change it from a solid. Solid sensor. You know, doing streaming and everything, that makes me really understand how recording studios are not comfortable places to be in. Am I getting anything important on my phone here? Nope. Nope. Dun dun. Land on the spikes, Corgo. Corgo's got a strong butt, I guess. I despawned the wrong thing. Oops. So where is spawn player? Double streaming. What happened here? Spikes here is a spikes query. Players here. Player and spike. Commands.entity.player.respawn recursive. Spawn player. Did I not remove the other code? You know what I did? I remember what I did. Spike. So if I go look for spring, I bet you that the 108 is there, coin is there. Yeah, 68 is not coin. 68 is spike. So now I can kind of control the behavior of these by like labeling them, almost. Not quite, but almost. I appreciate that Corgo had a buns of steel. Huzzah. And that respawns us. We've hit the spikes. We can collect coins. The level stays the same. But if we hit the spikes, we reset. If we land on this, it jumps us up. We didn't do that yet, but the spikes kill us. All right. You know what? I'm super happy with that. Let's commit this for a second. Diamond buns. Let's add the Corgo square too, because that's what we're using right now. GC message. Springs and spikes. Acceptance. Man, I haven't heard acceptance in so long. Okay, so that's that. And then when we switch this back to That's the wrong thing. Square. When we switch this back to that, we should, instead of git pushing, run. This should be the regular level, and it has a pad in it already. It has some spikes in it, and it has some coins in it. So what should happen here is that it shouldn't crash, hopefully. We land here. Now we have a Corgo that we can run with. Probably if I go down here, I can collect this coin. Doing, got the coin. Can jump around. Can be like spraying. Oh, you know what? This isn't the right pad. This is the down pad, which is fine. Wonder why that doesn't reset. But I do need to change that pad to being something else, which is fine. And then if I come in here and I'm like, I'm going to get this coin, grab the coin, reset, I hit the spikes. So now we have an actual level. The only thing I need to change is that that pad actually isn't the right sprite. So it never, so these spikes should work. But let's go check. There's a pad over here, and I'm not sure if it's the right pad or not. I don't know if it's the compressed one. It is the compressed one. So other than that, the coins work, the spikes work, which makes me believe that the pads work, as long as I set the level up correctly. So that's super exciting, because like we can be like, got here, spikes. We can do coin collection. I think that I think I'm gonna live with that for the stream for today. I might do some UI to like count coins off stream. I might do a bunch of things. I don't know. The game jam ends on Saturday morning. So I've got some time. I want to insert some sounds into this. So like this pad should be like a springy sound, and like when you jump, it should make a sound. And the only other thing, so sounds are going to be done. That might be a tomorrow morning thing. Sounds could be a tomorrow morning thing. And then if I could do like the layer over the actual level that unveils, maybe I'll do that off stream today, because that sounds a little off, a little weird to do on stream. And then I'll create the level, and then sounds, and then I need one more collision point on a flag so that you can like win the level. So sounds, level win, and like the fadeaway mechanic. And then I think we're good. So I think we're doing great. I think that's it. I think that works. Thanks for hanging out on the stream, everyone. And I guess we'll see what happens over the next day or two. I'll catch you tomorrow morning.